welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Maya, and today we're going to be doing a story time video. I've done one before where I broke it down into 3 crushes because I've had several. Today is just going to be one because this has a lot of information to hear, so we're only do one. But I would love to do more, so let me know if you want to hear more story times about my crushes in the past and whatnot, because that would be fun, I feel like. And if you want, let me know in the comments if you want to hear my like current crush situation story time thing, because that'd be fun as well. Okay, let's hop right into it. So I'm going to call out my crush this time and use his actual name because I don't like his name, and I want to use it because like I don't like it, but I like, you know, it sounds weird, but I don't like his name. I feel like it's a red flag after this whole story, honestly. So his name is James, and I met him at a church dance, guys, okay? I met this guy at a church dance right before the church dance started, and I went in, I saw him, I was like, hey, how are you? I asked him where he's from and whatnot. Well, I started to help him like get ready for the dance because he was there early, I guess, trying to set up. So I was helping James set up, and we were talking a lot, and then once the dance started, I talked to him all night. And I didn't realize this until later when my best friend told me this, but she was like, girl, you kicked me to the curb, because I was talking to him all night and I never really talked to her, which was a terrible thing, honestly, now that I think about it. But you know, the past is the past. We'll all do better. Anyway, so like I said, I talked to him all night. We danced probably 8 to 10 times, because there was probably at least 6 or 7 times we danced where it was like either I asked him to dance or he asked me to slow dance, you know. But there was a couple times where it was like part of a game, because they play games at the church dance, like where you switch partners and stuff, so that was part of it too. But yeah, so we danced a lot, we talked, I got to know him a lot, you know, I learned a lot about him, probably not everything, but a lot, right? So later in the night, I asked for his phone number, and he just like left the room, and I was like, what the heck? So as soon as that happened, I was like, where'd he go? And he came back with a piece of paper. He handed it to me, and it had his number on it. So I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And then he said he would call me, and he did, like the next day, or maybe not the next day, but at least a few days later. So we talked on the phone about different stuff. It was like, from what I remember, I don't remember every little detail in this whole story, but I'm remembering like the most important stuff. And I don't remember everything we talked about on the phone because that was in the past, and I try not to remember a lot of this stuff. But we talked about probably like ourselves, got to know each other a little bit more, because we were just like calling. But not only that, like after we called, we started to text every day, like our phone numbers, obviously. And so we did that. We got to know each other, and we were just like, you know, because obviously I liked him at the time. I don't anymore, obviously, but I liked him and he liked me. It was probably pretty obvious, but we didn't really say that like right away. Anyway, so we texted a lot, and from, oh guys, there's one detail I remember from the story that I want to say that I didn't think I would remember. So there was one time he went to the eye doctor, and apparently it's the same eye doctor I have, which is also one of my cousins. My eye doctor is my cousin, and he talked to my eye doctor slash cousin about me. It was really funny and awkward, honestly. Well, at the time it was more awkward, but now that I think back about it, it was kind of funny, I guess, because he was talking to my eye doctor, and he was like, my eye doctor asked him, do you like anybody? And he was like, yeah. And then he said Maya Fussell, and then Andy said, my eye doctor Andy, he was like, oh, Maya, she's a nice girl, or something like that. I don't remember everything, but the only reason I know this is because James texted me this stuff, and at the time it was so awkward. I was just like, why the heck is he talking to my eye doctor? That's just weird. But anyway, so we texted a lot, because like I said, we had our phone numbers. We texted almost every day, and then at one point it was time for my school's homecoming, right? And I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go without a date. So I texted James, and I was like, hey, do you want to go to homecoming? So he was like, yeah, sure. So he and I went to homecoming. It was pretty fun at the time. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. I have a date, blah, 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 blah. But now that I look back on it, I'm so glad I went to the rest of my homecomings just with friends, because honestly, a date just holds you down unless you're like boyfriend and girlfriend and you just love each other. But no. Anyway, so we went to homecoming. It was fun, you know. We danced a lot, talked a lot. I also hung out with my best friend, so it wasn't just me and him. I hung out with him, and then I hung out with my best friend and her date. And yeah, well, actually, now that I think about it, my friend might have not had a date that time. But anyway, so moving on. Okay, sorry. So like I said, we danced, we had a good time. It was a great night because at the time I like posted pictures, like so many pictures on Instagram and Facebook saying, best night ever because I had the best date ever. And now it's gone. I literally, at this point in life now, I have no trace back to him because like I got rid of all the photos. There may be one photo still up on my mom's Facebook page, but that's just because I can't get rid of that. But other than that, all the other pictures are gone and in the trash because I didn't want to remember it after this whole story. Anyway, so like I said, we went to homecoming, and then after homecoming we were texting a lot more, you know, and we FaceTimed a few times, and I only remember one FaceTime call, like in specifically really. So I was like on the phone, I called him, and I was either in here or in like the toy room in my house. I was talking to him, and he was on FaceTime, right, with his family. So him and his family were in the car, and they're all just singing out All of Me by John Lennon on the top of their lungs. And I'm just like sitting here listening to him on my phone. I'm just like, what is this? This is like the most awkward thing ever, because it was. Imagine you're on a FaceTime call with your crush and that happens. Like, that's just weird. I'm sorry, it's weird. Like, if you're gonna be like jamming in the car with your family, hang up the phone first, because I don't want to hear all that. Anyway, so like I said, we FaceTimed a few times. There was one time I remember actually when I was like recently trying to go back to remember all the bits and pieces for the story time. And there was one time we were on the phone late at night and we were like, no, you hang up first, no, you. And now I'm thinking back to it, I'm just like, that's cringe. Why did we do that? And then also, there was one time when we were talking on the phone, and well, not one time, it was a lot of times, because this was the time we both knew we liked each other. It was pretty obvious. We'd be texting so many kissy faces, and now that I think about it, that was just like one of the cringiest things ever too. So this whole story is cringe, but that's like probably one of the most cringiest parts of the whole thing, like for real. Anyway, so we texted a bunch, blah blah blah. Okay, fast forward a long time later, I don't know how much, but a while later. So after like maybe months, I don't even know how many months, but we were still texting, and I finally got his Snapchat, because I don't know for sure, but I think what it was is he finally made a Snapchat and then he gave it to me, so we started texting there instead of messages. And so here's another thing that's really important to the story. So at one point in this story time, whenever I liked him, I found out that he wasn't really completely mentally right in the head, right? Because, you know, he's got a little bit of problems, and not only that, but so did his parents, because when I went to homecoming, or when we went to homecoming, him and his parents met me here at my house. We could take pictures before. So, but when we talked to him, they seemed really nice. I'm sure they were very nice, but they obviously had a little bit of problems and they weren't completely right in the head. But I'm not saying that in a mean thing. I'm just letting you know, because this is kind of important in the story. So later on, after we texted a while, he told me one day when we were texting that he'd been abused before, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, or something like that. But like in my head, I'm just like, oh, that's so sad. I felt bad for him. I did. Like, I didn't know what else to do, because I mean, I'm texting him, what can I really do or say to that? So I was just like, all I really said was I'm sorry, because like in my like, you know, in my perspective, I'm just like, I've never been through that. That's terrible, but I've never been through that, and I don't know what to say or do or anything. So I was just like, I'm sorry, I hope you're okay, you know. But he had some problems because of that too, so that's probably part of it, but what caused all the mental problems they have. And then a while later, that's the main part of that. Anyway, so a while later, we're still texting. It was like, because most of this happened in probably like 2019 and 2020, right? This happened beginning of 2021. We're just texting. We're being normal, right? And then out of nowhere, like not every day, but every few days, he would be sending me pictures of couples making out, okay? And I'm just like, what is this? And somewhere around the same time, we were texting really, really, really late at night. And we were texting about stuff. And he sent me this TikTok. And in the TikTok, it was like, send this to a person if you love them or you're in love with them. He sent this TikTok to me. And I was like, what the heck is this? And when I said something in those specific words, I was like, what is that? Like, to him, right? He was like, I really don't remember exactly what he said, but in some words, he somehow phrased the fact that he loved me, and I was like, you love me? And he was like, yeah. And then he like sent, you know, when he said yeah, he sent that emoji that was embarrassed, like, you know. And so I was like, oh my gosh, he loves me? That's kind of, like, I guess I was flattered at the time because I liked him a lot, but I did not love him. I was flattered, but like, it was also just, what? I was thinking, this is too much, you know? So it was late at night, so I couldn't really tell anyone. So I waited until the next morning, and I told all my friends. I was texting everyone. I was like, listen to this, and I told them everything. And I told my mom too. I was like, what do I do? And everybody was just like, you know, if you like him, dating. But most people were just like, you know, that seems kind of weird. Maybe just be like, listen, I like you, but like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember the words. It was just kind of like telling him you like him, but like, that's just too much. You're not ready for that yet. So that's kind of what I did, but he seemed okay with it for a while. Anyway, so fast forward to when things start to get bumpy. Okay, so like I said, he did start around that same time. Like I said, he sent me pictures of like couples making out, and it was just awkward. I was like, I didn't say anything to the pictures of any of those pictures, because I was just like, that was weird. But there was one picture I remember that he sent. It was actually pretty innocent. It wasn't like couples making out, but there was one picture of this guy, and he like twirled this girl, and it said, my drug, your smile. That was sweet, but it was still kind of weird, you know what I mean? Anyway, so he sent me all that weird crap, and then around that same time, a little while later, I thought it would be funny to do a lyric prank, right? Like, what's the harm in that? Oh, everything. So I chose to do the song I Gotta Go My Own Way from High School Musical 2. First of all, it's his fault for not having seen that movie or not knowing that song. Because if you don't know Gotta Go My Own Way from High School Musical 2, go away. Like, just bye. I'm sorry. But he didn't know that song, and so I did the lyrics, and then he got really mad, and he was like, I'm about to block you. And I didn't think he was being serious at first, but then he was like, you know what? When you mess with my feelings, well, I don't know exactly what he said, but I think he said something like, this is what happens when you mess with my feelings. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he blocked me, not on my number, but everything. He blocked me on every social media he had, even Pinterest. Like, now that I think about it, why did I even have him on Pinterest? But he blocked me on everything. And after that, the story pretty much ended. But there is one more updated thing I want to say. And it is the fact that he has a girlfriend, and he got her pregnant. So that's what happened with James. And yeah, so let me know if you guys enjoyed the story time. It was very fun to reminisce a little bit, you know, think about things that have happened in the past, crushes, and you know, why not? But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the story time. Smash that like button if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment down below if you want to see more like this. Let me know if you have any other like video recommendations, because I'd love to help you out and like share content that you guys enjoy. And yeah, let me know if you're enjoying my makeup content as well, because that's one of my favorite things to create. And if you're getting bored of it, just let me know, because I would love to know, and I like you guys to help me out and tell me what to make, you know. Anyway, like I said, don't forget to smash the like button, comment down below what you want to see next. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I try to post every Wednesday and Friday. Sometimes I do bad about it, but I'm trying my best to be consistent and post every Wednesday and Friday. That way you'll have something to see both days. And yeah, so don't forget to add me on all my social medias. They will be linked down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.